We're back breakthroughs. I'm with my Indian brethren, Kartik. He is a low back ability legend. Anyone in the community knows about him, and he's a invaluable resource. Has been so helpful in helping other people in their journey with their back. So before he was killing it and completely crushing all the exercises we do and helping others with his back, he came in as a member for the first time I think 8 months ago or 9 months ago. And his story has been incredible. And he's across the world in India. Our time zone difference is insane. What is it? There, it's 10 a.m. for me. What's the time for you?
7:30 p.m.
7:30 p.m. So some of those calls you'd be on and it would be like midnight or later sometimes by the time they end, And so we still made it work. I'm excited for people to hear your story and for yeah, people see what's possible with this. So first, how old are you again, Kartik?
I'm 21 now. I started the program. I was 20.
20. So you started having back pain when you were 20. What was the story?
Yeah. So my story was I was very weak and less of muscle mass, nothing morely skeleton structure basically.
Hmm?
And today also I'm not very bulky kind of guy, but I would say that I used to do yoga and stuff. Other like the concept in BBB is mobility, is stretching and having end in the strength ranges, end ranges.
Yeah.
But in yoga, I don't know, my instructor was bad or I got it wrong. I used to just stretch it like that forcefully. So because of that, I got an L4 L5 injury, and it was a lot of sciatica pain in the back, and that went all over through my left hip to the lower leg.
Mhm.
So moreover that, because I was more of weak and I used to have lots of back pain due to sitting, I study a lot. So that was weak back was always a backstory, I would say, and yoga was a triggering point. More of
Mhm.
I got the injury on 20th September 2023.
Wow.
So maybe
Beautiful.
8 months now, 9 months now.
Hmm. And when you first,
Then mm,
how did you even find this stuff? Was it Instagram?
now I would not say Instagram, but 1 month, my doctor, I went to the orthopedic and he said 1 month you have to take complete rest. And he said that PT would work for me. And I did PT whole day. I used to do three times a day. But the fun fact was it never improved. I had a mindset that it would, but it was getting nowhere. I was doing that stuff. Then after 3 weeks of diagnosis, I never had a CT scan because the symptoms were so severe that doctor could identify in the first go. So there is a local wrestler out here in my locality in Delhi only. He had his back injury back when he used to wrestle and train. So there are, I don't know, desi recipes or some kind of treatments, local treatments. I went to him. He used to ask me to come once a week. I used to tie some tapes and all that thing. That helped me for the 1 month, for the one starting month. I went whole November, and it helped me a lot. My back pain was reduced and everything, but I was not 100% fine. Like maybe 30-40% you get the relief, but it was not a long term solution.
Hmm.
After 1 month, he said that you have to improve your own. There is nothing like quick fix. You have to work your own. So I went to the YouTubes and started searching for the low back. Mostly 90%, I would say that the videos used to come to me was regarding PTs and all that shit.
Hmm.
But randomly, I don't know, algorithm of YouTube worked in that beautiful way that I got one of your reels, and it was I strongly remember that it was regarding you were injured 2 years before, and your coach said that it is nothing related to back spinal pain, and
Yeah.
you were doing Jefferson curls.
Right.
And I was like, if he's true and if he is telling, he's not lying, then this is the only guy I can work with.
Mhm.
And the fact is that the more I saw you, the more I built more trust on you. Because you have been so true to yourself and to the community or the outside everyone, that I used to see your Instagram stories. You never lied about your life, how you used to sleep in the car to learn the BBB stuff, and it was more ATG kind of stuff from Ben Petrek, right?
Mhm. Yep.
So I thought that he is something and he has experienced. The biggest difference, I would first say that a person who can fix back is the first who have experienced bad back pain, right?
Yeah. Has to be.
Doctors have never experienced in the first place. So
Yeah.
how can they even justify, or they can they can't experience that thing.
Yeah.
You had that back pain, you had been in the worst place than I was. So I felt that you are the only guy I'll work with, I'll work under. And I mailed you multiple times. You, an interesting part, you mailed replied every mail.
Mhm.
And I thought that he's such a reachable guy, he's such accessible despite knowing so much stuff, and he's working so purely. He never have any issue regarding the getting accessibility, because the problem is that once you get influence now, you tend to become unaccessible to the common people.
Yeah.
And I
And
thought
it's
that I'll only, yes, I'll enroll in yourself. And from that day, from November 28th, I joined your program. I've never saw any video of fixing back pain. I trust you more than ever. And I am fully saying it's my 100% commitment that he is the only guy who can fix. And BB is the only program which can work wonders for everyone. It's a long term game. You have to be patient. I was very patient. Like like 4 or 5 months in the starting, I was very patient. But this is the game changer. And now I'm at this situation. I never even think I had a back issue ever.
Mhm. Yeah, man. Thank you, Kartik. And it's you did a lot of work. You sent in a lot of form videos. You're in the BBB Pro group, which isn't a massive, crazy, like expensive, high ticket mastermind thing. That's why people become inaccessible usually. The way it sucks, but even in back pain, things get sold and marketed by most people as, do you want to learn the secrets of back pain? All right, well, you get one free thing and then I'll send you to the big program and then you can join that. And it's usually like thousands and people pay it. Ours was hundreds a month for that pro, mainly because we had 2 to 3 Zoom calls a week. And then we had actual form coaching and all that stuff, which now you don't have to do if you get the website, but some people need it. But I just say that to say like I appreciate you seeing the difference from the beginning about how we were doing things, just because me and everyone's team behind it, the behind me is like we're in it for a different reason because we've all been through it. And we all kind of almost despise the way such a deep and widespread pain and problem in society is being marketed as needing secrets and these gurus. And it's like they don't even all have new information or anything that's changing the game. They're taking pretty generic stuff and throwing it behind marketing and making it sound, I do everything wrong. I'm supposed to, if you want to be successful marketing, supposed to market the easiest, fastest, and least time delay. It happens immediate sort of solution, and I'll do it for you. And mine's the opposite. You have to be the back expert. You're going to have to become so diligent and studious, and it's going to take a long time, and it's not easy, but I'll help you. And it's like a
You
reverse.
you you actually showed the truth, because you never solved the quick fix solutions like do these three exercises and you'll get fixed.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I was fed up of these videos like do these four exercises and in a week you'll get sorted. You always promoted through your reels or YouTube videos that it's a long term game. We have to work diligently. like showing to the gym every day, every session was more critical than
Yeah.
doing overdoing the exercise. In the beginning, I was very diligent, and I'll accept that I used to cry in the beginning.
Hmm.
I remember I had cried 2 to 3 times, like where have I, where have come, why this problem have stuck to me, and is this a solution? In the initial, when things started to move, I was quite skeptical. I'll not deny that. Will these things work? But I believed in myself that it's a long-term game, and let's see in 1 month or two. Like at the end of 1 month, I saw significant improvement, and I was blindly following you from that day.
Yeah, I remember when you first joined, I remember thinking, I don't know if this guy's gonna last in the program. Because for the first 3 weeks, you had a question about everything. And I was like, dude, you got to just keep going to feel it. You got to feel it enough to learn what's wrong and then learn from it and then do this. But you were so like thorough and trying to understand how is this going to go. And it was to a point where I'm like, I don't know if he's going to trust this process or not. And it's a lot of questions. And but it ended up being for your betterment because the only reason I was suspecting or worried about it is because most people, when they're always asking questions overly and not doing equal amount of work, that's what most people do. You weren't, but most people ask, "How do I know this will work for me?" But what if it doesn't? And what if this? And then what if that? But they're not actually in the process of doing it. Those are the people that pick it up and try some of it for a week or two. They get a flare up or they don't feel great and they stop. And they go back to, oh, well, let's see, this isn't it. But for you, I didn't know at the time because I didn't know you. You were asking just because you were trying to plan pretty well and you stuck with it. And then over the next, I would say 2 to 3 months, you went from being the most demanding sort of client to the most rewarding kind of client. And it was really cool to see. And that's the reality of it. When you're in pain and you've been sold bullshit before, or you see the lies on the internet, or you see the way the space is infiltrated, of course you're suspicious. And it's like, who knows if it'll really work? You started to learn why does this stuff work? It's because there's no one exercise that fixes everything. That's not even what this is. I wouldn't even say LBA or BBB is a program. It's more of a whole sort of home for someone trying to fix their back with the community, with the direction. I say I don't know to people's questions a lot, but we work to figure out a direction and giving everyone off the really bad direction of avoidance, painkillers, wait it out, and into the direction of rebuilding, training, curiosity around your pain, not masking it. It's directional correctness. And these exercises are so far our best bet at covering most things. And you started to feel that. And then Kartik became an incredible demonstration of what's possible with this consistency. So you were training daily, you were sending informed videos daily. I had to slow you down a lot. I had to say, go easier on this, go easier on that, focus on this, focus on that. We kept fine tuning. And then you were sleeping on the ground and laying down the rest of the day because you were at such a fragile place. Maybe that's important to tell people. What was your first, the first 4 to 6 months like you around your training? So you go in, do the sessions we had, and then what else were you doing alongside? Even breath work, everything. What were you doing?
Okay. So first thing and first, when I went to my orthopedic doctor, he said that, and I want to say on this issue also, in India, generally the orthopedics generally recommend first thing remove the bed cushion, start sleeping on the hard surfaces. First thing and first, they tell every patient to do this, and I don't understand why that cushion industry is working on. They always sell on the idea or promotion that this cushion is better for your back. This would keep uh, your spine more aligned and more safe. And even today, I sleep on this hard.
Wow, I always
Even
thought
means
that was soft. I always assumed that
no,
was
no,
like
no.
yeah.
It's wooden, pure wooden. I today also I sleep on this only. And in the beginning, in the winters, I used to sleep on the floor with a little cloth above, and then I used to sleep. Then I transitioned to this, and I was sticking to this. I used to my the biggest core factor that worked for me was that I studied for the whole time in the lying position. I had a gooseneck holder,
Hmm.
and it I used to keep my tab or a book at the holder, and I used to study through the on that. Me whole time I was lying. Like I used to lie on the hard surfaces. Like you could say like 20 to 22 hours a day, because I had the leverage and I had the luxury to be at the home the whole time. And it feels little saddened when people had to work with a back pain. Biggest issue. So I used to wake up, do my daily chores, then I used to go to the gym, maybe 40 minutes until the session. And I want to say that during the first 4 or 5 months, even you can say 6 months, I stick to the BBB 1.0. I never did any more extra exercises or like any other stuff than the recommended exercises and mobility stuff. I never, the monkey mind used to always say that let's try this. But I used to say that we have to stick to this only, and and we can't afford going back to the zero.
Yep.
So I used
So the
to go to the
1.0,
gym.
just want to share to people, the 1.0 is sort of the stripping away all the ideas you have around lifting and trying to get all these gains in the different areas. And instead, everything is addressing imbalance, full body still, ankle, knees, some of the foot, the hips, the mid back, the low back, the upper back, shoulders. But it's all focused on getting you restored in balance and strength and tissue health leading to the back. We are trying to fix your low back. And there's just enough leg work for that, and just enough hip stretching for that. And there's just in all this combination of things. And then the 2.0 is like a program that takes those qualities that we built for the low back and we integrate aspects of more traditional lifting like RDLs and like, dips and chin ups and pressing and squatting again in this sort of middle step back to lifting. But a lot of people are always in a rush to ask the question. You see it all the time in the chats, Kartik, can help employ patience to people is, okay, I've been doing the program for 2 or 3 weeks. How do I get back to doing squats and this program? And it's just a bad plan. And you see it all the time, and people get injured again. And it's because the length of time and the amount of intention it may take to remodel tissue within your spine and the muscles all around, it's not on a week time frame, it's on months minimum. And that is going to take dedication to your problem. And is if you get a little relief and then you want to take this main focus and then mix it in with your other stuff, now you're just going back to not paying attention to your back as much, and your quality of recovery is going to go down. It's just like you said, the monkey mind, the temptation is always there. You feel a little better, you want to do this, you want to add this, you want to, and a lot of this stuff takes 6 weeks to even improve the exercise. If you keep doing it, it'll take 6 weeks to change the tissue, and then you really have a different back. And so the diligence to stick to something that's slower, the exercise seem easy. I've tried to teach you and all the members that you can make these easy things hard, and you can learn to set new goals that aren't just how much weight's on the bar, but controlled range. How tough can you make your body weight feel? Or how tough can you make 30 pounds feel? Can you get sore with the least weight? Can you start to get a more skillful ability to train? So those are the difference of the programs. We have little mini add-on programs. We have different things we've tried to give members the option to add. But ultimately, one of the biggest roadblocks is people have an unrealistic time frame. They have expectation in general with healing,
Yes.
and you cannot squeeze out gains of healing. This isn't a math equation. Healing is a holistic, non-resistant, surrendering process. It's going to take as long as it's going to take, and you took that approach, and that's why you got there fast. relatively compared to other people who are still half in, half out a year later. So I just want to add that the programs, the 1.0 is that true rebuild your low back. That's our only focus while improving the rest of the body as needed. So I don't know if I took you off your train of thought, but you were sticking to the 1.0. You didn't
I
fall
I,
the other things in temptation.
I never reject. I In the beginning, doctor prescribed me with painkillers. Basically, I rejected them in the first instance because the pain is an indicator of something. It's not that bad. If I close my eyes and observe the pain very minutely, it
Mhm.
doesn't feel so bad. If you observe it very closely, it's not bad. The mind makes it more painful. Pain for me is an indicator that something is wrong. We have to regress back, or we have to find a solution towards it. The mindset of people towards pain have become so, I think personally, they become so critical that the mind averts it. But if you start feeling it now, gradually you'll tend to make a peace with pain. You'll become less anxious. You'll become less fearful of it, I would say. So I rejected it, the painkillers. And the next most important work in my whole journey was breath work. The route to make the pain friend, in my opinion, was breath work. Because Buddha also used to say that, like Buddhists, I in the 2019 or no 2021, I went to the Vipassana session, a 10-day meditation retreat. Thereafter, I used to practice meditation on and off, but after the injury, I started it seriously in the month of January end or February,
Yeah,
and it helped me a lot to detach from the pain, suffering, and everything else, to see the issue in a neutral and unbiased way, I would say.
yeah,
And pranayam techniques I used to practice. My father taught me this, inspired me to go towards pranayam and breathwork stuff. It helped me a lot in the sciatica and make my mind more tranquil and peaceful. This is the first and foremost thing. If one is in pain, it's actually difficult, I would accept that, to get out of it and to see it more detachful way. But once you start getting a hold of that now, your agony becomes much less. It's a truth that you have a back pain or back injury, but it's not your life, I would say. I used to always see that. Okay, I'll once it's an event, it'll pass on gradually. It made me see within myself a lot of things. The back pain was actually a blessing in disguise for me. I would say that. And breathwork also made me more commandful over my breath, my body. I could feel every session, each muscle more well, each workout more well. And it's not something that it's not a go to fix. Like if you do a 2 session, you'll feel something. It's a, maybe I would say, the more you practice, the more you learn, the more you become peaceful, the more you become tranquil. And I would say that everyone who has a back pain should start doing breath work, yogic practices, and meditation. If sitting is not possible, I know that I used to lie down and do that stuff.
yeah,
I used to walk backward and do the breath work.
yeah,
Walking backward was the only thing that helped me in the first month of injury. It
yeah,
is a miracle to the knees, to the lower back, and everything. Even
yeah,
today, I warm up on a sled or a treadmill machine, walking backwards only.
yeah,
It is a go-to fix.
yeah, man. And it's needed for anyone who has a nervous system, anyone who has a spinal cord that and brain that is affected by your senses and your state, which is every single human. You need to be trying to working on your breath as a pathway to get to presence or awareness, like you're saying, and observation, And I'm not even trying to make it so spiritual. I think it's beautiful. There's nothing wrong with it. I personally am adopted into it of like how deep that can run. I meditation was a huge part of me getting out of my loop, and it saved my life in many ways just because I became so identity based in my pain, and a lot of people do. And you can only break that identity when you take a pause, one with the thoughts, two with your constant interpretation of the pain. The pain is a feeling. It's just a literal sensory feeling. But what makes someone feel hopeless is not a physical feeling. It's the interpretation. What does this mean? Okay, now I'm never going to be back to this, or it's never going to get better. Now you have your emotions in the same sync as your physical feeling. You emotionally feel just as bad as it physically feels. And now you kind of bridge that to be, this is who I am. As if you emotionally feel something, and you physically feel something, you are establishing that's who I am right now. That is fact. And that is really hard to break that. And that's when pain pathways become a real thing where you could take out the physical source of pain, but it's become such a habit to feel the pain, the brain through the nervous system and spinal cord to the nerves will literally still fire pain receptors because pain receptors are almost sometimes patternized outside of the physical cause. And so you could feel the same emotion that you had when you had an injury, and you start to feel similar pains as if you had the injury and you don't. That's a real sub-subject of study now. We, of course, include all of it. We're going to work on the structure. We're going to work on the root causes that could be there of tissue. But outside of that, working on yourself holistically, how you feel, how you think about this, your process. Fixing your back is a full body process. It's also a full life process, full soul process, in whatever you believe. I don't want people to get thrown off from, oh, meditation or breath work or yoga practices because they're Christian or they're Jewish or they're whatever. And there's connotation against these sort of things because you know how religion gets with different places and people. It doesn't matter. What we're talking about is presence, which every human body has to try to find when you're sitting in pain, because you get very dissociative when you're in pain. That's why we usually mask and we cope, whether that's a drug, alcohol, being a jerk to other people. I'm just saying the things that I was pulled to when I was stuck in chronic pain. You start to react. And the only same way there's no quick fix pill to back pain, there's no quick fix pill to emotionally being in pain as well. You have to do like sustainable building and solutions with practice in a supportive way. And it takes work. Just like the physical, you have to go in 3 times a week and do back extension iso holds and be diligent. Well, at least 3 days a week, you should probably be trying to take your panicked body and go through a breathing practice that allows your nervous system to really rev up so it can really calm down and start to be present so you can observe your pain, but without any reaction to it. If you can separate that, I feel pain, but I'm not scared and panicked. It's sort of like getting in the cold plunge or getting in any fight or flight state and not having to buy into it. I've just experienced personally, that was the only thing that could get me through bad flare ups. Otherwise, if I was feeling that sort of pain and I was panicked, like this is going to be forever and I'm never going to get back to sports, I would have quit. It would have been a wrap for me. And so a lot of members talked about that. Cody's nerve pain, it was someone we did the interview with last time, was so bad. He had to use so much intention and meditation basically just to use his bladder, like just to do normal stuff of life. And so to get through flare ups, to stay focused, to improve the mind muscle connection, any sort of intention of what you're trying to feel, slowing down, breathing very intentionally, whether what is it, pranama? How do you pronounce that practice? Pranama.
Pranayama. Prana means breath or the
Ah,
essence of life,
right.
and ayam means to practice it.
Okay.
It's a different terms to the end. Breath has no religion. First of all,
Amen.
you
True.
breathe, I breathe. Everyone have the same sensation of going in and coming out.
Yep.
Every religion have equally emphasized on that. First of all, no religion in pure form. There is a difference between dogmatic practices and pure religion. Like in Islam, Sufism is that faith. The soft part that focuses on transformation of person, man as an animal to a human being.
Mm.
Everybody focuses on a breath. There are a lot of Indian mistakes that personally focus on the breath. And if you find in Christianity, I don't know about that. There would be some mystics or saints who would be more focused on personal transformation. Buddha did that. Jains did that. A lot of Confucianism focuses on breath.
Hmm.
That is, I would say.
That's a good way to put it. And I'm speaking to people's misconceptions, not speaking to the truth of those things. I just want it to, like, remain universal no matter where people are coming from. It's like it, it may be new and novel to some people. I just remember trying to recommend meditation or breath work to people, and it was sometimes met with uh it's just taboo to some people. And I don't think it should be, like you said. And so, yeah, I'm a huge believer in it. It's helped me personally, and I think it's a piece of the puzzle. Just like we're we want to treat back pain as if it's not our whole life. It's this isolated part of us. It's one thing. But then you start having to mask it, and then the problem gets bigger. And then you start kind of have to change the way you work, and then you're taking more painkillers, then the problem gets bigger. And now it went from I have back pain during lifting to my whole life is ruined, my whole life is back pain. It affected my emotions. You can't go to work, you're stuck at home, you're depressed, you're in physical pain. Now all of a sudden, back pain is the epitome of everything. So if we can get that bad to take over everything, then we know everything has a role, whether your literal emotional state, your physical structure, your training, how you're handling yourself in the weight room and lifting, how you're building that stuff, but then also how you breathe, how you sleep, how you live, how you feel. All these things play a role in the development and treatment or resolution of chronic pain. So that's just the real story. It's not perfect. It's not a 4 steps to fix your low back as we'd like to sell, but you had a very successful back transformation. And it wasn't just, I did the 5 exercises Brendan told me. That would be dishonest. You did, and you improved the building blocks of the structure, but you also found a lot of peace along the way and presence that even made it possible. And we've known members, we won't disclose the names. I say Cody all the time because he's already public and people kind of know his story, but other people that they were doing all the exercises and you were there to see them in the calls, and but they were also extremely stressed out and very spread thin and had maybe kids. They had to go do extra shifts here and they were using their back at work here. And even with all the right exercises, they struggled to really turn it around until that something big changed in their life. And they either dropped the job, they made it more of a priority to just heal holistically on other aspects, and then they got huge results with their back. So that's just the reality. And I try to teach what I can with the training, but I love the community that has been built because that's where everyone has things they've found. You've helped members with that. Other people have helped with stuff for sleep. It's just it's a full life rebuild. It ends up being that for a lot of people. So yeah, I'm glad you shared that. And I slept on some yoga mats. I remember sleeping on the ground for sure. And so you definitely can't be overweight and do that. I think that's another thing is like the more unhealthy you are and the more fragile you feel in your body, the harder it is to sleep on less and less cushion. But a lot of people know this when you're dealing with back pain. What you think you might need is extra support and cushion and a really soft mattress. It ends up wrecking you, like totally wrecking you.
For the
But
first for the first week, I was also in pain, and I used to have a little cushion, like thicker cloth or something like that in the winter to keep me warm also. But gradually, once your body becomes attuned to being on hard surfaces, everything is fine. And the irony is, I now feel uncomfortable sitting on cushions and couches.
Yeah.
My body have become so attuned to being on a hard surfaces. And actually, all the Eastern cultures, I would say, uh, if you see Japanese and if you see cartoons, like any cartoons, like we used to watch Doraemon and all that, Ninja Hattori and all that, uh, in my early days, everybody in Japan you sleeps on the floor. If you see
Right.
that's the only Eastern culture I have seen, and they embraces sitting also, sitting cross-legged or sitting on their calves, this which is called Vajrasan in yoga.
I'm in the chair.
And yeah, but everybody in the East, even my elders or the saints in India, usually sleep on the floor. So it's a natural, I would say, the antidepressant, and it's more of a, like you can say, natural massager,
Mm,
acupressure, I would say. If you
mm.
sleep on a floor, naturally your joints or muscles would get acupressure while
Yeah.
you roll on the floor and all that thing. So it
Yeah.
helped me a lot. In the beginning, I used to sleep like a dead in a coffin
Mhm.
because I could not, I was not able to roll over on one side.
Yeah.
Gradually and gradually, my body becomes so attuned, like I can sleep anywhere now. I don't even need a cushion or something like that. I just lay down on the floor and I sleep.
It's
And
interesting.
best sleep ever.
Yeah. It's like there's a transition period where it doesn't feel great. It's just like going to more minimalist shoes, especially in the US. The big marketing is like the shoes are getting thicker and thicker, and Hoka's and these brands like thicker. You're standing on clouds, and it's like, all right, well then you end up down the path almost like back band-aids, and almost like the couch cushion, everything gets softer, bigger. You end up needing more of that, it seems. And people will argue what's healthier, what's not. When you're a child, you can remember being able to roll around on the ground and be so pliable and be resilient to that. And then you slowly get up out of the chair slower. You slowly end up sitting more, and you're like, you just start to feel like you need more help and support when you were originally the help and support. And that's why I like the slogan of build your own back brace. And I think that aligns with also being able to sleep on the ground, or being able to sit on the ground, or being able to get up out of the chair, just getting a comfortable being on the ground, rolling around. The longevity outliers I've met, the Kador Ziani, who's 50 and he can dunk, and these, whether it's for longevity or even athleticism, they're usually remaining comfortable being on the ground, and they can tolerate the harshness of reality, and they're adapted to it. So like desensitization is a big part of our program. That's why we do the back extension iso holds, and the concept of getting comfortable where you were previously spasming, having flare ups for no reason, no real reason, no injury, but you have pain. This process of desensitizing is a reteaching tool to get your body comfortable how it used to be. And just like hanging from a bar, we have hangs in the program, getting the shoulders comfortable with that, like kids used to be able to do. Sitting down should be more comfortable. Um, the more fragile you feel, the more fragile you treat yourself, and then the more fragile you become. And it's a tough thing to turn around. So it's interesting to hear while you were training the back and doing everything with the low back ability program, you also were making a conscious effort to desensitize in other ways. And I believe that's probably helped, And it wasn't the most fun thing to do at some point, I'm sure in the beginning. Um, but I like that direction personally, and it's not an answer for everybody. I don't know, but versus the direction of be more careful, slow down, get more cushion, get more back braces, make sure you wear this, make sure you're not doing that, because your body listens to what you tell it, and if you tell it you are fragile, you cannot move in those positions, you are stiff, it's going to listen and become that. So yeah, man. Let's touch on real quick like the training. the experience for you training wise, though, Kartik has an incredible split squat, has an insane range, and you came in pretty flexible, but that wasn't necessarily even helping you. We could even call it hypermobile, you know? And what were some things, some realizations on the training side that now you wish you could tell yourself 8 months ago when you started, just about exercise and about fixing your back with exercise? You know, was there anything you were really bad at, anything that you never thought you could, improve on, or confusions that now you have good insight on? What is some of the things you've learned the past 8 months on training?
First, I would say that when I entered the program, I used to think that it's a protocol or a set of exercises, and it's something that we have to do apart from the general gym
Mhm.
gymming culture. Like I would get back to the gym if I do these exercises.
Ah,
But gradually I learned that these exercises are much more athletic, superior, and better. Having both strength and mobility at the same time is like icing on the cake kind of thing. So the more I practice these exercises, I thought that this is the way to do the gym itself. I never do any extra exercises now also, apart from BBB 2.0. And I think that I am more flexible, strong, and I would say is I feel like I'm much more stronger than other counterparts when I see in the gym. They are they may be stronger, more bulky. I would say they can lift more, but they are not flexible. They uh, then a fun fact is I would say that most of the people have low back pain. When I go to the gym and I see that they raise the belt and do them as heavy squats and something like that, it's okay. But when I ask them why can't you reduce the weights and do it without belt, they say that they have low back issues. So I even ask them why don't they fix the low back? It's more kind of egoistic lifting nowadays I see in the gym, and it's a lifestyle I would say. I used to wake up in the 2 or 3 months back. First thing I used to do was 80 split squats to get my body warmed up slowly,
yeah,
and QT calf raises here and there. And for the if I studied too long, I go for a backward walk, not for a walk, but a backward walk. It's
right.
it's a part of my life now.
Yeah,
The more I do it, the more relaxing I feel, the more strong I feel. And the community, I would on comment on the community that the group that BBB Pro provided was the best investment that you can make out of $200. Exercises you would learn here and there from someone by seeing the videos by your YouTube channel or something.
sure.
But the community support that was provided to me, that I had access to some of the being excellent people apart from you. Cody was one of them. He's so helpful. I would not deny that he helped me in my toughest times.
Hmm.
He gave me nuance corrections, the small corrections that I could make to make the exercise more harder, precise, better, smarter.
Yeah.
And gradually the community support, because I said in the starting that I was also quite frustrated some of the times, and when I used to see the chats or type in my emotions or feelings, sometimes people used to get support of each other. They used to share their own stories, and a lot of people guided me and helped me initially. So community support is the best thing I ever got in $200. And this is more of my life now. BBB, I never ditch these exercises or this regime. Even today I go to gym 6 times a week. I train more or less around these exercises, mix these exercises, and do some other stuff. But this is my core, and I will never ever, I would say that I would never ever stop doing them. The more I do it, the better I am.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, a few things on that. With the exercises, the goal is the reason why I train the same largely is like I won't go back to training any exercise where there's only really one benefit, whatever the benefit is, right? So, like, let's say the leg press. If you push really hard training leg press, the benefit is you may get stronger legs. kind of. You'll get a burn and a pump. Now, there's many ways to get stronger legs. The easier ways, leg press is very easy to work hard on. So the buy-in is less. It's very easy to go in and get a pump in your legs doing leg press, but there's also not many additional benefits. Now, something like an ATG split squat could take 8 months to even feel like it's a challenging leg exercise because you need to work the joints, you need to desensitize, you need to rebuild this connective tissue. You also need to get range of motion unlocked. So it's a very costly buy-in. You have to be very committed. But if you do it, you end up having a leg exercise that builds muscle for sure. You also build and maintain your range and flexibility to a point that's unreal. You can get to splits through training a strength exercise. You also are building the joints very measurably over time. It's sustainable and it keeps you feeling great. So you have the option of A, leg press. It's very easy in the beginning, but the real only benefit is you're getting some stimulus of strength and maybe some muscle building. Some. The other exercise, ATG split squat, has a lot of commitment. You're going to feel bad at first. You're going to feel clumsy and you may have pain. You rework that and troubleshoot it. Eventually, you have strength potential, range of motion, joint health. I won't ever choose the one benefit exercise over the three. And there's many examples like that. You could deadlift, lift the weight as heavy as you can and drop it, and you get the benefit of strength, just raw strength, and maybe some protection of the back. Maybe you build up some tissue, just strength, or a full stretch controlled RDL where I'm cutting the weight, but I'm pausing at the bottom, getting a full stretch. I'm owning it where my back is at the toughest. There, I'm getting flexible. I'm getting the strength that I want as well from the deadlift, but I'm also getting crazy flexibility. I'm also building a lot of time under tension directly to the low back, and I'm building up the tissue around the spine. So it's like I just always choose the harder exercise. That's not hard on a balanced Bosu ball, and you're making closing one eye and make it hard for no reason. Hard is in the tissue is the most challenged. You're the most exposed. You look like the biggest beginner because that's usually offering these exercises always give you 2 to 3 benefits, and it's not just for strength. And that's why we don't have to have a whole stretching day on top of it. You can, but you don't have to spend all this extra time on recovery and trying to balance out you just being stiff and tight. Like bench press, great, you can do it. You get stronger, you build muscle. Full range dips over time, you're getting flexibility and you're actually building the shoulder capsule some and the tolerance there, plus strength and muscle. So that's the exercise thing. You choose the easiest thing. What does a beginner do if they walk in the gym today and they don't know what they're doing and they just want to feel a sweat? They hop on machines. It's easiest up front. It is the most limiting in the long term. Now, the opposite is to pick a very complex movement that takes a long time and you have to be honest about your joints. It's very humbling in the beginning, but it has the most long-term potential. So it's an equal trade-off. You want it easy today, you're going to run into trouble. You're going to start wearing belts. You're going to start, lying to yourself. Or you can be humble today and you have the longest journey. It's like a lot of things in life, you know? So,
And because the body functions in a sync, I would say, like you don't body doesn't treat like it's a back day or it's a chest tricep day. Body always treats any exercise or a movement in a more holistic pattern. Like if you walk, a lot of lower back and the whole legs, maybe upper till the neck muscles work in some tandem or some sync, I would say. So it's better to train the complex exercises or complex movements like it is split squats and KOT squats and every another like low back extension. If you do it properly, you'll get a very good hamstring stretch also. But people tend to isolate and tend to strengthen the individual muscle. But when it comes to working in tandem, they perform then poorly. This
yep.
is the why people get injured. And Cody used to say that we are not a machine, we don't need machines. So thereafter, I left the even ego to try simple machines like hams pull or something like that.
Exactly. We are not machines. We don't need machines. Yeah. And there's some benefit sometimes to taking things and isolating them to see, do you have a discrepancy, but strengthen it and then bring it back. And that's really the goal. So the goal isn't always, you know, to do tib raises, and that's an isolation, you could say. But the goal is eventually to be able to do the lifting you do want to do, but also have a better awareness of your body. Because when you do compound things and complex movements on a imbalanced body, you use compensations and you mask it and hide it. So it's both. It's train everything piece by piece, but also learn how to reuse it together with proper intention and focus. So
Yeah, goal must be to have proficiency in compound movements. Like
mhm,
not to train in isolation. I would say that train in isolation sometimes, but the goal should be to do the compound movements.
mhm,
Yeah, like more complex movements, like it is spread squats. You may need to brace the knee or get more ankle mobility, which requires individual strengthening. But
right.
it should not be treated as that like I am doing ankle day or I am
Yep.
doing knee day. This should not be the goal.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's way more true to how the body works to give it together. Exactly. Now, Kartik, we're going to wrap up soon, but I didn't want to ask again, like about you talked on the community. Um, Someone hears like from the outside, there's good community and good support. That's awesome. But a lot of people like talk about community, and it doesn't really make sense without more explanation what they mean. So we have the Telegram chat, we also have the Zoom calls, but like what aspect of the community really helps? So Cody is an LBA leader. We have other LBA leaders. Kartik is also one for other people. Um, why did it make such a difference versus just having a program, being in a group with now there's thousands in the big chat, but hundreds there, like versus just listening to me as a coach? Because we used to not have group chats. I used to have no community because I was a little scared in the beginning, like 6 months before you joined. I was like, if I open it up, people are going to just compare MRIs and they're going to send each other their prescriptions. Like, I don't want to, I don't trust it. But I ended up opening it up and it was the best thing I could have done for all of it. And I saw like how selfish it was before that I didn't even try to bridge that. So, why not just have me as a coach and just talk with me and what helps you about talking to others? Because there's a lot of members who don't chime into the telegrams and maybe they don't even, or the calls sometimes. They don't know what they're missing. So what do you think is
I
what's
would
some of
say
the
that, yeah,
or what's
I
an
would
example
say,
of a time
I
where
highlighted the,
sorry, go
I already talked about the Telegram group, and the first and foremost thing was when I was initially injured was getting direct access to you. Talking to you on the video calls were the most soothing to thing to me. Like
ahead.
if I see you on Instagram or Instagram reel or YouTube video, when talking to you and sharing the actual problem, and then you helping me to when to start, where to start, how to regress, how to progress. These are actually a key when you start learning about how your body works and how the lower back stuff would actually work in a long term. And the Zoom calls were great. Initially, they were 3 in a week, but gradually it got reduced to two. And two are also equally awesome because people gather their doubts and ask you in personal, and you show each exercise how to do them, where to feel them, which muscles you have to engage, and which is the better outcome or alternative if a person or a being have a problem with it. So I would say that Zoom calls were miracle, or I would say the star of the program. In the initial 2 to 3 months, I used to attend 2 out of 3 calls. I used to wake up 4 a.m.
Wow.
Uh, to match the time difference, and used to attend each and every call seriously. And I gained a lot from them. I would say that it was the when you see someone in real doing the stuff and asking the nuanced questions that you get along the way, And if you do something in the gym and you get some feedback from the body and asking you directly, it's more than anything to progress gradually. And the second thing is Telegram group chat, where people send in their videos sometimes. There is a LBA also, LBA wins chat also, where people also discuss their progressions, their little wins, and things that they could not do before, and they have started enjoying it. Like Cody used to share a lot of skiing videos. Sally shared her driving videos and a lot of other stuff. It actually inspires one to push hard, like I can be there one day kind of thing. So as a whole, the program is awesome. I'm still connected to it, and it's now a part of larger community, I would say. The journey, I would say, in the initially, I would accept that it was horrific. Like I was feeling a lot of bad emotions, like why did it happen? But in the end, now I could say that is the best thing that happened to me. If I had not been injured, I'd not see a Brendan Backstrom on YouTube,
Yeah.
and I'd not connect to people like who had the same sympathy experiences. And now even I feel empowered to help others,
Yep.
especially in the lower back issues. In the gym, I have helped two or three guys. I've showed your videos and follow you, and if they have any problem, I help in here and then. Overall, it's a fulfilling experience, I would say. Like getting my back injured made myself more stronger. I now sit around 8 to 10 hours a day comfortably without even thinking that I had a lower back pain. This is awesome. The experience was up and downs a lot, and it's not a some hunky dory in India. It's say like everything goes smooth. It was a lot of up and downs. The projection you show that the progress is like that. You
Mm-hmm.
come down, you go up, and finally you reach your destination.
Mm-hmm.
Then now I think and look back, it's a lot that you gave to via the internet. I especially thank you. Like I saw that you had a vision to
Mm-hmm.
make it more fulfilling. Like if you got help from a person called Ben Patrick who could share his experiences, and maybe it's your ethical or moral side, I would say that you came on the internet for free. You gave every possible nuance and techniques to make the back better. And I remember thoroughly in a video you said that before going for an operation or a surgery, give this stuff 1 year thoroughly. And if you don't feel better, you can go for a surgery. And that moment I got clicked, like I need to do it fully with my whole intentions. There would be bad moments, but we have a community to deal with that. And in person also we can talk to you through the app or video calls. But I feel like it's my personal side that you saw future Kartik would get injured and get help from you because you had the same experiences. And I also feel that if I had injured myself, I learned from you, and I'll progress these ideas, just propagate these ideas to the larger public. Because in India, a lot of misconceptions are there. People rely on PTs and they don't get better. I see a lot of uncles and aunties complaining about lower back, getting quick fixes and all that thing. It's a long-term game. I would say that matlab, I feel truly grateful and indebted to your mission and motto, what you did, and I'll always be happy to be part of LBA and help others.
Well, you're doing it, man, and we're grateful. You are our best resource on that side of the world. And then you've already been helping lots of people that are, we have clients everywhere, and a lot of the people you listed, um, people in Australia, people in Ireland, people in London, people in India, people in Asia. And a lot of times in a Zoom call, we'd have 6 different time zones at once. And it was just always so eye-opening how one back pain does not discriminate, but also too that the support and humility that chronic pain can force you into. And then when you're actually still positive and hopeful of a solution and working alongside other people, it doesn't matter where you're from or what's going on. You find a real core sort of connection with people, just as people. And we've had beautiful moments in Zoom calls where people are almost crying, right? Like we've had some, if I never found this, then that, and I'm like, all right, guys, stop getting me in a place. Let's tone it down for the day. And it was just so unpredictable because I was just a kid that was injured when I was 21, and I could not tell you how unlikely it would be for me to predict having any role to even help five people with the back or any injury online at all. 0% chance. I had a couple hundred followers and I was a failure in my life. So I didn't know that anything like that could be an advantage. And that's why I went so aggressively hard to learn from a mentor like Ben Patrick or someone that also had a similar story, feeling like the biggest loser because of the setbacks, but stayed pretty humble and real about getting out of it. And that showed like it showed the way of storytelling, of being real and authentic with the pain. And if you're humble enough to share your stuff and not just cash out for the money, you can really lead people the right way. And now, as I've done that with my own level and my own scale of what I do and the back stuff, it's only been more rewarding to see you guys start to do it too. So, you're helping a ton. I wanted to ask also, what is your what is your message for your Indian population that may see this, or the for the clients of the BBB that are from that area or LBA, the misconceptions. I mean, access to gym equipment varies, right? We're talking about very different GDPs, economy, lifestyle, you know, culture and expectations. I don't really have, I mean, I would say I'm tan sometimes, but I don't pass for Indian. People aren't fooled, So I don't know how I resonated with you, but I think if there's a message of the back pain community where you're from, maybe this would be a good time to kind of try to help with that. You have any message?
First of all, have the patience. It's a long-term game. Everything in your life, in my life, I have thought that it's a long-term game. You have to. There is no quick fix in life. I would say that. And second thing is the BBB is the best opportunity to get you out of the back pain. Anyone who is seeing this video and have come to the at the last of the Zoom call session, I would say that you do not need to see any other videos or any other coach or any other gurus to fix your back. This is the best shot you can have. Brendan is very authentic person in my opinion, and he genuinely wanted to help people. Came out with a BBB Pro mission and now with a general mass group program. Fees are very nominal, 80 rupees, $1. Anyone can afford it. It's a part of, I see a lot of Indian clients in India. Personally, they have messaged me and I've helped them in person. But I would say that you don't need to detour somewhere else and waste your time, energy, effort, concentration, peaceful mind peace. BBB is the best thing you can do in your life also. Apart from the back pain, also it's a holistic program to train your whole body, both posterior and anterior chain, and holistic treatment to your body. And on the Indian side, there is a lot of misconception. People actually, there is not so much gym culture out here
Yeah,
holistically. In the cities, more focused. People have like the youngsters like me have started going to gym and gyms have grown.
yeah,
So ego lifting is something that kills a person. I would say that you have to leave your ego and stick to these basic exercises. Over time, when they compound, the gains that you get, is much better than you get from classical gym exercises.
Yep.
The message would be to stay patient, consistent. Ups and downs will definitely come. You'll feel crying, you'll feel upset, you'll feel having depressed, being feeling depressed. But this is part of journey that makes me a person better, more resilient. It made me better. I never think of my back now, and I'm happy to be part of this community as a whole. I liked the initiative to the core, and I'm working to propagate these ideas or exercise regimes to a larger community. I would say people in the gym have also noticed that I do some kind of different exercises. I introduce to them the working methods and the KOT principles, basically ATG principles. This is whatever I would say, and it was the best to get connected to you, see a Brendan Backstrom from US, and it's a more of a miracle that even today I sitting in Delhi from a middle class background, I could chat with someone from USA in real time and get my problem solved. What could be more beneficial to me? I loved it.
Yeah.
It's the best thing. BBB is the best thing you can do. That's all.
Thank you, Kartik. It's not a paid advert. I mean, I'll send you the rest of the money for saying such kind words later. That was beautifully put. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, man, it's we're lucky to have you. You've been literally top five leader in the community and very consistent, very energized, and that's needed. People, you go to communities for back pain, like on Facebook groups and stuff, and everyone's just kind of complaining, kind of lost, recommending weird, random things. Take just turmeric and take this and do that. And, there might be some value in it, but it's just like everyone's on the same climb here. Everyone's on the same rough journey, just at different stages. And we're all trying to teach each other to think bigger than our emotions, to think greater than our pain, to we even give space for people to be upset and complain a little bit, but we almost like guide them back to reality, which is this is the long game, though. I understand you feel this way and do what you can to, get through this period, but then we're always there very consistent and clear in a helpful, kind, patient, loving way to you're not hopeless and you're not going to quit and we're just all in this together, and even if I have a
Yeah,
flare,
I would
shared my pains this past year. I've shared when I've gone through things. And so then you guys can see what does it really look like for me, even as someone ahead. And then after a week or two, I'm better and I share the insights I learned there too. And it's imperfect, but that's the plan has to be imperfect. It has
I would at last I would only say that shut up your mind. It's a monkey mind. It will hop here and there. Like in 1 week or 2 week, it would say that these exercises would not work. Brandon is faking it, or this program is bullshit, or something like that. Shut
right.
up your mind, close your mind, stick to these exercises for 6 months, I would say. 5 months, 6 months, and don't do any other exercises apart from it. Rest as much as possible, use hard bed, meditate, breath work, eat healthy, get your protein intake adequate. And in India also there is a problem. People hesitate to take protein powder because we as a whole community is more of vegetarian.
Right.
I am also vegetarian. I try
Yep.
to complete my protein goals or something. I'm not very adamant to protein goals,
Yeah.
and but I tend to always eat healthy because my body is my temple. I have to keep it as clean as possible.
Hmm.
So before eating any junk, I think twice, or and I tend to eat as much as clean, as much as healthy, and leave rest to God because I believe in something supernatural power also. Like if He gives you a issue, it is to test your adamancy, your rationalism, and your patience. Patience is the greatest gift of Almighty. Not everyone don't have it. One have to cultivate it. And through this journey, I learned a lot.
You're very wise for 20 years old. Yeah, I agree. Co-sign completely. And It's universal. It doesn't matter where you're from. These are just realities of it. It's hard to heal when you're not feeling whole. It's hard to heal when you're coming from a place of anger, anxiety, urgency, rushing. Can't hate your way to healing. You have to find the most sustainable state for every aspect, the most sustainable training, the most sustainable eating, whatever that means to you, most sustainable sleeping, lifestyle, use of your time. Who do you talk to? What's the energy of that? How do you feel in your social life? All of it should be highly prioritized. And if you've been living a life just chasing only the job, career, the money, and you've been imbalanced somewhere in your life and you're stuck in chronic back pain, this may be a wake up call or a time for you to like stop burning yourself down for the isolated goal of one thing that's not sustainable. A lot of people have an aspect of that. And so this is patience, greatest gift. I was taught through this as well. Now I'm married to the long game and it gives me so much more hope for everything. We're back. I was in more of a rush at 22 to become athletic than I am now. I feel like I have more time now, even though I'm 5 years older. I would have given up if I was like 27 and I still didn't make the Olympic trials this year because I was injured. But now I realize the only thing that made it slower is me rushing. So now I'm done with that. And I have a long athletic career ahead of me. I just really do. I'm going to be remaining young in spirit and body for a very long time compared to if I was rushing and breaking down so fast. So regardless, man, we all appreciate you. You're very well known in our community and you're going to continue to grow out stuff. I already know on your side of the world, and we will support you in doing it and try to help each other because it's the same bigger goal. And I think that's what healing the world is about, one problem at a time, one confusion at a time, and just being authentic. And these are life principles that you pick up through pain. And I think it helps a lot of things. So I'm grateful for you. You got me forever to help with whatever we're doing. You'll always be a part of what we're doing. So thank you for talking to the people. This was really helpful. We didn't stick to our 40 minutes. I always set a time limit just so I can break it. We never stick to it, but it was worth it. So appreciate it, Kartik. All right, we're gonna end the call. Legend.